And that means if players attack you in this space, or the police, which are NPCs, will come and attack them. And generally it doesn't end well for them at all. They usually die. But if you notice all this red stuff out here, this is known as low sec or null sec. Now, this is where players can freely attack you, and there'll be no one to protect you apart from yourself or any friends you have nearby. So that's where a lot of PvP happen. And also out here, big groups of players, alliances, and corporations fight over the control of space and actually control it. So if we can actually look at, where is it? Where is the alliances tab? I can't remember. But they can actually control sections of space, and they will put space stations and stuff on it, and lots of corporations and alliances fight over this, and there's massive battles and quite epic stuff that goes out there. And there's more money to be made out here. Ideally, at least that's what they're trying to push for, and I think that's actually the case. But then there's also another area called low sec. Now, low sec players can't take control of, and it's where the security. Let's see if I can find a low sec. There you go, there's a low sec. Now, anything below 0.5 security rating is known as low sec. And this is where players can also attack you, and they will get criminal kind of marks down on them. But you can't take over this space at all. And there's generally a lot less money to be made here. It's not particularly safe space. It's quite dangerous space. There's usually a lot of pirates running around these areas. And nullsec is actually kind of a little bit safer sometimes. But once again, this is more stuff we'll go into as we play the game. A lot of it's just playing the game and you'll slowly just pick it up. So let's head into space. Here we are. Then when you first start the game, you get put into a NPC corporation. Look at all the ships. So this is a hauler, this ship here. Nope, so you're jumping away. You are Harbinger, so this is a battlecruiser. And we're actually getting to some of these ships later on. But yeah, as I was saying, people get put into corporations. So this guy, this is his corporation. This is the corporation he's in. Let's see, where am I? Let me just click here. And when you start the game, oops. Never mind. You get put into a corporation like this guy here, and we're put into this corporation. That's the one I chose, the Royal Armour Institute. And you can see the green here. This means they're in the same corporation as you. And now these NPC corporations, they're really massive because they've got all the beginning players and all people solo. So they're just like a starter corp, pretty much. So ignore those anyway. Now, so what we want to do, our mission is in this solar system. We can take a look at the solar system map. Here we go. So this is the solar system we're in. We're there. These are all the important points of interest. Bunch of moons there, asteroid belts, all that jazz. And our mission's actually in this sector. Now, when you get missions, they give you a point to warp to, and to get there, you just right-click. It says Agent Missions. You go here, you find the encounter, and you click Warp to Location.
Warp drive.
And we will now go warping to our location to rescue a skill book. Actually, I can't remember what our mission is, to be honest. So this is the journal, and this keeps track of your missions and quite a few other stuff here. So, fly to local space, retrieve. Yeah, I've got that. Retrieve your ship. I've already got a ship. Okay. Use it to carry back an item from the local armor cargo rig. So this is just a basic, crappy tutorial mission, really. So, actually going to ignore that. Can I ignore that? I can. So generally when you do these missions, you get warped to a place like this, and you may notice one of these. Now these are kind of like almost the doors to a dungeon. That's the way I like to think of it. Missions are like dungeons, but the problem is if anyone finds this place, you can scan them out. You can go there, and you can actually follow them to the mission. So you could be doing a mission, and someone could actually find you out in this mission, and then attack you, or start helping you, or stealing your loot, or something like that. So actually, let's just go over here. Ooh, didn't mean to target it, but okay. And this is it, the little space station thingy. Just unlock that. And there we go. And once we're within 2,500 meters, we can open it. So there we go, we've unlocked it. And we'll head back to the base, which is dock. Now this is a mission item. So it's you know, it's not really actually important at all, apart from for the just turning in for the mission. So we generally ignore that. Now this here, this is an ore. Well, it's really, yeah, this isn't ore you mine. You mine this in the form of feldspar, and then you refine it, and you get this titanium. I think it's tritanium, or trit as you generally call it in the game. Nice abbreviation of it, I guess. Not abbreviation, shortened name. And this is everything's got some trait. As it said, the main building block in space structures or objects in this game, and it's the most common ore. And you know, it just gives us one piece. I don't know why at the start, always has, and it's valued at a 5.89 ISK. So that's hardly anything really. I'm not sure I can get anything for that, but we'll sell that after we've turned this mission in. So just click complete, and there we go. We are done. We have this now. So we just inject this skill. And if we go to mechanics, there it is, repair systems. It's level 0 because we haven't trained it. But there you go, should we slide it in? There we go, we slid it in. Actually, you want to slide this in quite early on, because this is quite crucial. This is good skill, and you'll see why later. I shall explain to you why later. In this game, there's three ways for your ship to stay alive. Well, there's 3 methods of a ship fitting. The first one is buffer tanking. Now, buffer tanking is where you fill all your load slots with these things called. Let's see if I can find them. Hold on now. It's not hog grades. It's not resistance plating. It's not armored. Oh right, just set that to region. There we go. There's armor plates. So let's look at this one. Excuse me. So this is a reinforced steel plate, and it increases our armor, the ship's armor. And actually, I should probably show you that. I'll show you that now, because this is a combat mission I recommend. I think. Yeah, this is a combat mission. So just quickly do that. But these increase your armor, and this just makes your ship tougher. Means you can take more of a beating before you blow up. And generally, if you want to do that, it means you stay in the fight longer, essentially. And it's good for PvP usually. Though some ship fits don't actually use that. They do a different way. They use an active tanking way. And by the way, okay, here you go. There's armor. This is shields, and this is hull. If this gets to 0, you die, essentially. But we'll just go to the death zone. With those armor upgrades, this increases this, and so it just allows you to stay longer in the fight, which is good. It's always a good thing. But once again, it doesn't recharge, so if you die, if that empties out, it won't ever come back unless someone repairs it. And this is known as passive tanking. And the other form of tanking is called active tanking, and this is the most common form you see when you do PvE. Now, active tanking is where you can either do shield tanking, active tanking, or armor active tanking. And essentially what you want to do is you want to repair your armor or shields faster than the enemies can do damage to it. Or you repair more than the enemies can do damage to it. And pretty much what you do is you use armor repairs, and you put a bunch of armor repairs and it just repairs your armor. And it uses CPU. Or capacitor, sorry. Now this is the next feature we'll actually show off now. A lot of modules use something called CPU. Capacitor, sorry. And this is pretty much the energy they require to use it. So, for instance, our Gatling laser here is a laser weapon, and it uses. Does it say how much capacity it uses? Actually, this probably doesn't do anything because it's a new weapon. But laser weapons and some other weapons and railguns, they use energy, or a lot of modules use energy. Active modules, they're called. And when this reaches 0, there's no more energy for the module to use, and so it shuts down. Now this does slowly recharge, so you have to either make sure your cap stable, it's called, and that means this recharges faster than the energy you use, Or we'll just lock onto him so we can start shooting him and we'll orbit him 100 meters for now. Or, this is the enemy, another frigate. Yeah. Or you do a lot of management. You manage your weapon firing, so you can see our caps has gone down a bit there. And so, for instance, when your cap's starting to get low, you turn off a couple of your modules so your cap can slowly recharge. You see we're taking damage on our shield a bit there, and you can see this is his bar, so much shield he's got. This will be his armor, and this is his structure, his hull. And that's a common form in PvP. Is instead of making your ship cap stable, using modules that improve your capacitor's recharge rate and stuff, you will just balance your use of modules, and it requires a bit of skill to get it right. And some people are really good at it. They can do it where the cap is just right on the edge and still keep the majority of their modules going to make them as effective as possible in combat. It's quite impressive, and you might see me do a bit of that depending on our fits. I'm sure this probably sounds really confusing and I haven't explained it very well, but hopefully you'll come to realise it as we go through the game. So you've got little purple lasers. And this ship here is actually a ship you can buy. This ship. This is the Punisher. It's not a frigate. It's an upgrade to ours, certainly. But we might just skip this altogether and just go straight to destroyers if we can. And this is what a mission is. A lot of missions are just like this. Enemies come here to kill them. Now these are the early missions, so they're really easy. But it doesn't take long before they start getting quite hard, and you have to make really good fits just to kind of get through them. And eventually you kind of get these mission fits that are designed just to finish missions really well, and they would just blitz through missions. You might see a couple of those later on. Though I've never been much of a mission fitter, I must say. Just finish him off. You see we're missing sometimes, so we're getting less damage. And this, as we get better skills, we'll be able to hit the enemy more. And in the fighting, there's actually quite a lot of mechanics going on. For instance, to determine if we hit, we'll just look at our ship. You have to look at the angle. They look at the angular velocity and stuff, and we can actually add that to the overview here. Add tab. Actually, no, we won't. Oh, I'll do it. Is it? Actually, maybe it's here. Oh, I can't remember. They look at they look at the angular velocity. They look at the speed you're going compared to the target. You look at how big the target is using the signature radius, which you can find here somewhere. It looks at your targeting resolution, the targeting, how far away you are from the target, the weapons range and stuff like that. Determine if you hit. And you can position your ships into places where it increases the chance you are to hit the target. And all stuff like that. I think our mission's done now. Yep. Completed. Okay. So there's a lot of. What are you talking about? Do you mean we can't walk?
You cannot walk there because natural phenomena are disrupting the
Huh? There's not a gate here, is there? There we go. And a lot of people you can do quite well to get into certain positions, and it determines how far away you fire from, and the weapons and all that sort of stuff. And there's quite a lot. It's a lot behind it, and we're sort of, once again we'll cover this as we play through the game. It's kind of all that jazz. But yeah, and this is EVE Online pretty much. There's a lot to it. Ooh, that's new. Now you may notice here we have some stuff here on the overview, which is going to make this bigger. So these players, these little kind of boxes with little gaps in them, the full boxes are space stations, and these are what are called jump gates, and these allow you to travel to other other systems, and you'll see those later on. So let's dock up here. That's the dock button, and that's the warp button, by the way. And this is the approach button. This tells you to orbit the target at a certain distance. You can change the distance by right-clicking and setting the distance, just typing it in there. And the one with the eyes, you can look at the target. Let's complete this mission, by the way. And we can get a small armor repairer. And 8 seconds we'll be able to